Welcome to another edition of Saturday Night Cartoons. And Saturday Night Cartoons is kind of an update of animators of me and of Jonathan. Jonathan is my guest. Jonathan, say hi.
Hey,
Because if we don't do that, what happens? You just see my ugly mug. So, so me and Jonathan are are the hosts too. I mean, we have multiple hosts, but me and Jonathan and I are one of the hosts, and because we're going to be talking about his cartoon, Eddie in the ER, and then we talk about my cartoon, Virtual Nuts. And then after that, then we talk about our just a little bit about our journey of what we're all about and what we're struggling this week, and just kind of an update of where we're at. So if you haven't watched Eddie in the ER, it's super funny. The shorts are super funny. Take a look. It's gaining popularity, and it's super funny because it's real comedy. It's what Jonathan, because Jonathan's a doctor. And Jonathan, should I call you Doctor? But or do you want me? I mean, how do you want me to? Because I always just
you
say
can,
Jonathan. But
you can just say Jonathan. It's very casual.
okay, okay,
When I'm outside the hospital, I'm just Jonathan.
okay, great, great. Thank you, bro. So yeah, so we're gonna and you see how great he is. So we are gonna just talk about our what's going on now. So Jonathan, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in what's in my life. So what I'm trying to do is get a lot of people, right? Get a lot of people into our show, and to watch virtual, and that's our channel, right? And so I'm still having a little bit of hard time. You're having a lot more success because you're probably funnier than me, but I'm trying different aspects of it. Well, I don't know. Truth is in the pudding. So I'm trying different aspects of it, right? So I'm doing this thing called bite size. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a 15-second, just like a one-liner. It's kind of like, I don't know if people remember this, but it's kind of like a Far Side thing. And so I'm doing those because those are really fast just to start creating content on my channel, right? And then I'm also doing the Junk Food Junkie 2076, which is a based on my a serial novel, right? And what I'm doing is I'm posting that on Medium every week and or every day. And then I'm also doing stuff on LinkedIn, and it's just like more serious stuff on AI ethics because that's what I'm working on now. And then I'm also doing the backstories for Virtual Nuts. And then I haven't even been able to do my main cartoon, Virtual Nuts. So sometimes I'm thinking, Jonathan, you know how you go into a restaurant, right? And there's those
Yeah.
restaurants that yeah that aren't doing too well because they like have everything and they don't have anything specific that they're known for, right? So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, so I'm wondering, is that should I go back to just doing a couple of things? But if I do that, Jonathan, then it takes me too long to create the content because my main focus is animation, right? Is Virtual Nuts. That's like the flagship of my animation um channel is Virtual Nuts. Yet I've only done one, and then I've done the backstories, right? Because the backstories are faster. I'm still working. I'm trying to finish my next episode. So I don't know. This is my approach to try to get more people going. And like right now, I have subscribers with is you, Clint, Danny, my brother, my mom, my other brother, and my son, and my other son. So that's eight, right?
I mean, I
Nobody
just have
else.
a few more subscribers only because I have a larger family and my neighbors are like my best friends. So I just, that's the main reason.
I don't know, Jonathan. You're real, dude. Yours is really funny. Like I was watching them last night again, and I keep watching the one that I about Ebola, and then the
Oh,
guy with
yeah.
yeah, the guy with a little a little scratch and saying
A little
and then
cut.
yeah, and then the other one when the guy is saying he's dead already. So I thought that's hilarious because it was only took a couple like even a minute and a half, and it was hilarious. But it's based on a full episode. Anyway,
Mhm.
blah 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 for me. So where are you in your channel? What's going on
So right
now?
now, I definitely understand what you're saying by trying to spread yourself almost too thin. like as far as going in multiple directions, because you have a lot of great ideas and you're pulled one way or
Oh, thank
another.
you.
Um, I'm right now, I'm trying to focus on my lectures, at least for the next few. So I'm going to do some lectures, and I'm in the middle of two right now. So I didn't get to work on it as much as I would have liked this week because I was working a lot, but
Sure.
uh, I'm working on one right now, and it's going to be funny. It's going to be really funny. I really like the intro. I have a good idea for the intro. It's sort of a boxing type intro. It's going to be it's going to be nice, and
John,
it's going to be. Oh, go ahead.
oh, no, 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 go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be about peptic ulcer disease, but I'm going to put a nice flair to it, so it'll be interesting.
So that's so funny because I was going to ask you what it's about. And so, God, that's really cool, dude. So what's really good about Jonathan's channel is that he kind of shows us what's going on in the medical field, right? I mean, you really share with us what's going on behind the scenes as far as when something like that, right? Because I don't even know what I'm assuming it's like really bad stomach issues, right? Is that your ulcers and stuff like that?
Yeah, you pretty much have like ulcers in your stomach, and it
Ugh.
causes you to have a lot of pain, especially when you're eating or when you eat spicy foods. Um, yeah, those can all be some of the symptoms. It's a lot of pain though in your belly.
Oh, I could imagine. So, Jonathan, what do you when you think sit down and decide to do episode?
Mhm.
Is it based on like you got a couple of not customers, couple of patients that come in and it's like you notice that this is up the on a rise at this specific one, or is it because it just in your head you say, okay, I want to talk about this now. How do you do this?
Well, in the emergency department, we're pretty unique because we see everything. We see a little bit of cardiology issues, a little bit of GI issues, a little bit of endocrine issues. So pretty much I can talk about a lot of different topics, just very broadly, but not necessarily for a patient triggered it. It's just like, oh, I just feel like talking about this today. So I'll just start writing up the lecture for that one and just do that.
So Jonathan, your audience, do you think is more? Do you think your audience, when you sit down and think, because I don't think, okay, who's my audience? Everyone, right? But when you sit down, do you think, you know what, I'm going to be helping other doctors, so then I'm starting to do these lectures, or do you
Yep.
say I want? Oh, that's okay. So that's your approach.
So like future doctors, future med students, residents, like people that are training, even nurses and PA students that are all going to be trained to treat people. Because a lot of our lectures growing up, or at least in medical school and residency, some of them are sort of boring, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It was just
I
sitting
can
through lectures,
imagine.
it'd be boring, and you're just like, oh man, I need to understand this content. And it's almost a disconnect because you're like, oh, I want to do well on the test, not realizing that you really want to do well because you're going to be treating someone and their life depends on it
Yeah,
later. So it's
yeah,
almost that
wow.
divide. So I figured try to make it interesting so that when you do learn this content, it's more fun. And for the random person that has an issue and they're maybe their doctor or a primary care physician said, oh, you have this disease, and they didn't really explain it that well, they can just pull up a lecture and be like, oh, that makes perfect sense. This is why I have this. I understand this completely. That's why he gave me this medicine. So it sort of both. It helps treat patient, helps treat the or helps with the education with the student, the future doctor, future PA, future nurse, but still doing it in a fun way. You know?
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that's the best way because then you always remember things if it's more interesting or entertaining in some way, right? Jonathan,
Mm.
that's awesome. So so Jonathan and I were thinking about something, right? I'm very spiritual. Jonathan's very spiritual, and
Mhm.
it's not to say that we're that we subscribe to anything any religious aspect, right? I mean, we're religious in our own ways, but it's not like we say, oh, we're Protestant or we're Baptist. We're for everyone. That's how I feel. Am I putting words in your mouth, Jonathan, or is that how you feel too?
No, I feel that way as well. Like definitely. I would say I'm a very spiritual person. Definitely a very spiritual person.
Wow. So,
And one of the things that I've been looking, because I took a week off. It was actually about 10 days off
oh yes.
just to almost reset and just really try to figure things out. And I came across something that was really interesting. I think we talked about it briefly, the laws of the universe, universal laws. And it's funny because as I was researching like very successful people, it seems like they all use these laws either knowingly or unknowingly. I'm not certain, but they mention it in a lot of interviews that they do. And one of the laws that I really have been stressing is the law of correspondence. And I'll just read it to you. It's like as above, so below, as within, so without. So it's like your external world is really a reflection of what you're struggling with internally. Like, does that sort of make sense to you?
That totally makes sense. And that's it's so funny, Jonathan, you would bring that up because I was looking at because you sent me a list of that. And I was
Hmm.
looking at it, and that's the one that really gravitated. It's so funny that you would bring that up. And I just was looking at this morning, just so you know, to take notes. So when we start talking about that, yes, that gravitated towards me. And you're right. I really do think if you don't feel it here, how are you gonna feel it out? Or how are you gonna, I guess it's manifesting, or how are you gonna manifest it? And I really believe in
Hmm. Hmm.
manifesting. Oh, go on, Jonathan.
Yeah, I definitely believe in manifesting as well. And I definitely believe like if you don't deal with the struggles internally that you have, either past traumas or just uh, things that you things that you've thrown in the background and like try to suppress, then you keep having repeat scenarios, you know? You keep having
Yeah.
repeat struggles in life as you go along. So I the law of correspondence, and one of my friends just happened to show me like one of the shadow workbooks. So I was working
Oh,
through that shadow workbook, and it actually brought up a lot of things like in my past, and I was like, yeah, I can see why this would hinder me from going to that next level, taking that next step, even being more creative. Um, have you ever come across that in your like? Have you ever thought like maybe some childhood issues or past situations they've hindered you from like moving forward?
Jonathan, that's so funny that you bring that because as you were saying this, right? I thought, oh, wow, it keeps hitting me like bricks, right? Ah, because I think, wow, is my struggle based on me not really? Because I'm gonna get personal. So I have a speech impediment. So as a kid, I couldn't pronounce my words, right? And I would stutter. And it was to the point that my dad would scream at me, you know, just what are you trying to say, right? And I would get and as I got older, they told me that yeah, I had a speech impediment and I had a lazy tongue, so I couldn't pronounce a lot of words, right? Like even in Spanish, I can't. And I think you're Latino too, right, Jonathan? Is it-
No,
Oh,
no, I just speak Spanish. I learned it in
I thought you were. I thought you were from Colombia. I thought you were Colombia because you like to go to Colombia.
I like to go to Colombia and like art. I worked in Argentina for a month,
Oh, there you have it. Okay, okay. I'm sorry for
worked in a hospital
assuming.
there.
I just thought, oh,
Oh, no
he's probably
problem.
Latino. But but yeah, so yeah, and I so as I grew up, I had a really difficult time communicating, right? And I would freeze up in class and stuff like that. And but I was always very creative. I was always writing and I was always drawing and I wanted to be an animator even at a young age. And I thought I'm never going to be able to do it. I'm never going to be able because I can't talk in front of a camera and stuff like that. So it forced myself to do that, to talk in front of a camera. And I joined Cable Access. I did this thing. I'm probably dating myself, but I did a thing called a Gen X show with my friend Danny. He's also a co-host that you're going to meet later on. And we did very well. We were recognized and Disney contacted us, right? And the people don't realize that I would spend hours saying my line because I didn't want to sound so stupid or mispronounce a word that people didn't know. You know what the hell is he saying? Or the biggest my biggest pet peeve that people still say is that, oh, I don't understand what you're saying, Ray. You're mumbling. Well, it's not like I'm trying to mumble. It's like I say in my head and then comes out, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, so long story short, I think sometimes when I look at my animation series, I think that's me mumbling. Nobody understands what I'm if I'm trying, nobody understands my jokes but me. And then a ex-friend of mine, we became friends again, said something very hurtful. He said that, dude, nobody understands your jokes but you. And I thought, oh yeah, I guess you're right, because with subscribers and not that many people watching, right? And until we started talking about Jonathan, because I thought I'm still going to go for it. I'm gonna, if it kills me, I'm still going to be doing my animation series because I love to do that. That's what makes me happy, you know. And when I met you, even last week when we were talking about it, I thought, wow, dude, you told me 125, right? 125 or 150 episodes. I thought that actually makes sense.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my son told me that. He said, you know, Dad, you got to put a lot of stuff out.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, so I'm starting to do that and it's starting to work. And my other things in my writing, but it's not so much YouTube yet, but I'm also trying to put new stuff out. But yeah, so I'm going back, back to what you said. Yes. Yes, Jonathan, I do think that it's because I still have it in the back of my head that nobody understands what you're saying, right? No one understands. And you know, you're not funny. And so I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to prove, you know, everyone that I really do, because I feel like, you know, if I wasn't funny or didn't have this energy of creativity in my body, then it wasn't meant for me to do it. It's not just like really difficult for me to do this stuff. It's like I feel like it's part of me. So I feel like it's just some kind of block that I need to jump over, some kind of fence I need to break and do it. That's what when you brought it up last week and said, "Hey, dude, you know all this stuff where you're doing that," I thought, "Oh my God, I think that's me." How about you? How about you, Jonathan?
No, I agree 100% with what you just said. Like, because I do think you're funny,
Oh,
and I
thank
do
you,
think
bro.
that people are going to enjoy the things that you have to say. But I do think
Thank
that,
you.
like you said, it's like a blockage. It's like a blockage, and it's almost like, and I came across that too during that shadow workbook, that things would come up from my past, and I'll be like, man, like for example, when I was much younger, like from the time I was in fourth grade, I'm sorry, I'm getting all personal, but the time I was in fourth grade up until med school, I moved every 2 years. So I was never in a school for more than 2 years. And so it was just moving around a lot and having those long-term relationships. Um, like I don't have like friends that I've had for my entire life, you know.
Oh, wow.
I've had friends from college and med school, and those people from college moving forward, I've had friends that have been long lasting. But before that, it's just like, yeah, didn't, I haven't stayed connected with anybody. But I guess that's sort of a tangent there.
No, no, no.
But just
So,
dealing with past things seems to help take you to the next level. At least that's what my understanding of some of these laws was. Um, So I guess if you still feel, at least what I've been telling myself, if I still feel pain or still feel hurt thinking about something in the past, then I'm not free from it yet. And if I, as soon as I don't feel that way, then I'm free from it. And I don't think these repeat scenarios are going to happen in my external world to try to force me. It's like the world or the universe is telling me, hey, you need to deal with this in the past. And I'm going to keep giving you the same scenario
oh
happening over and
God.
over and over again until you finally go back in the past and say, hey, they were wrong. I'm free. I'm actually funny. I do have a voice in your situation, or they were wrong. I can have long-term relationships, even though I've only been in the past, I had to move around a lot. They were wrong. It's fine. And these struggles helped form me into the person that I am today. So they're
Wow.
not really hindrances. They're actually blessings. They're blessings in disguises, but we just see them as curses that are holding us back and hindering us. But yeah, at
Do you
least if you're still, at least telling myself that if I still feel pain when I think about something, and I actually sit there and actually really think about it and try to digest it instead of just suppressing it, you know?
Yeah. Wow, Jonathan. So what do you recommend to to artists like us, right? That are working on it, but maybe they're not at the point, right? Like, like they're struggling, right? They're feeling that no one's watching their stuff, or they're feeling that they're not capable of doing this, that proof is in the pudding, that they're not getting that many, watches, or they're not getting that many subscribers. What do you tell them? What would you tell them? That's probably me.
Well, first of all, I'm definitely no expert. I'm definitely no expert. Look at my subscribers. I got like 26 subscribers right now.
Hey, that's double
Um,
mine.
I'm no expert at all, but I'll just say what I'm trying to do right now, personally. I'm trying to attack it from both angles. So taking a moment to look in the past and see what things are struggling, what my hangups are, instead of trying to just keep it in the past and throw it in the back of my mind and just keep running forward. I think about it and I tell myself, I talk to myself, I'm like, hey, I know this happened, but it's okay. And I'm going to be okay. I am still doing okay. I don't know. I'm just talking to myself and trying to address it instead of suppressing it. Really actually think about it. And I don't know, maybe you might cry. Maybe someone might cry. I don't know. Maybe it might trigger the rekindle relationship with a parent or family member or someone. I'm not certain. But instead of suppressing it, I want to address it. And on the other hand, I want to write my goals down, say them, really think about them, and actually take time to actually think about what I want and, and just meditate on that, I guess. Really try to visualize that in addition. So it's like you're attacking both ways, you're attacking the past that's holding you back, attacking the future. Because there was one video, I think I sent it to you. It's like, what if all the goals, everything that you ever wanted was also seeking you? And it was almost like a beam that every time you're saying or trying to or thinking about what you want, it's like a beam going to that that's also seeking you. But all these past things and are like mud. It's pretty much mud stopping this beam and hindering it from actually coming to you. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
clear out all the mud and just move forward. And like you said, 150 videos. I'm gonna keep pushing for 150 videos. If I don't got a lot of subscribers that have 150 videos, then I'll just say maybe it wasn't meant to be. But I'm gonna go for 150. I think that's a good number. That's a you can say you did a college try after you get 150 videos out there. So
Jonathan,
150 lectures.
no, dude, you're funny. I mean, but you're successful. Look, I mean, you're a doctor, and that's one of the hardest things you could do, man. And you've done it. You're a doctor, and that's huge. And then, and you're successful as a doctor, and so. It's like for me when I see that, I'm like, wow, well, he's already proved that he can do it in anything he applies himself to. That's what I see, but I'm an outsider looking in. So I don't know what's going on, with you. But I already see you as, man, this guy's gonna be huge. He's already accomplished so much. He's gonna be huge, huge.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. I think you're gonna be good. I really
Thank you.
do.
Thank you,
You're
bro.
just a natural. You're just a natural with hosting and doing this. So I really think you're gonna be successful. I do.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, I took your advice too, dude. I've been also inadvertently, you have given me so much advice, like you looking at videos, you talking about empowerment, you talking about all this other, aspects of law of attraction, right? Because I remember years ago there was a book and a video called The Secret that was based on that, and I was really for gung ho, gung
Oh
ho, gung
yeah.
ho, yeah. And I think it did kind of work because I did go back to school, I did get my degree, and then I got accepted to USC for my master's, right? But that's a whole nother thing. USC, I'm very upset with you. But that's a whole
USC, that's a big name school.
I was so honored to get in there, but we're having issues. I oh, I'm not even gonna go into it because I do respect it, and because I was accepted, I'm like, wow, I'm just honored. But
Yeah. That's
Thank you,
an
Jonathan.
accomplishment. Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
When I
But
see USC, I'm like, okay.
thank you, man. Fight on, right? So, but but what I found videos too, and I found this one that it really made me feel good. It was like, um, and I now I listen to it every night, but it says just like you said, pretend it already happened. How would you feel if it already happened, right? If
Mhm.
you were already reached your goals. And when I think of that, it makes me, I feel like this warm energy in my body. Like I'm so excited. It makes me so happy, almost like relieved. Like, you know, when you had a long day at bed and a long day in bed, you know, right? A long day, right? Working. And then you come home and you're just about to just lay in your bed and, ah, it's over and I'm resting. I'm finally, you know, or you maybe you paid a big bill and you were like, oh, thank God, I've been worrying for that. That's how I feel. That's how I'm starting to feel daily, right? So I think, and to me, I don't know, in my head, it's like, wow. Because now if you look up Ray Gutierrez Jr., you'll see all my stuff going on. Before Jonathan, if you looked up Ray Gutierrez Jr., you would see a guy that died, you would see a guy who was arrested, and then you wouldn't see me to way down there. And now my name's all the way. So I really believe that because I'm changing my head, that things are happening. And it's
Yeah.
Jonathan, it's because of you, bro, for bringing it up, giving me, and then
No,
also
no, no, no. It's you.
honestly,
It's you. That's you, man. That's all
well,
you.
I'm gonna read that book. I gotta read that book. What is it called again?
Let me see if I got it. It's a shadow work book. Um,
And
yeah, it's
it's
a workbook. It's like it's prompts. It triggers things to make you think about things in your past, and
and
it's like fill in the blanks workbook.
how did you find that book? How did you come across that?
Honestly, I feel like everything's connected sometimes because I started this journey during that 10-day period. I was watching some videos. I'm like, man, this is really interesting. Let me just keep diving down deep. And then 3 days later, one of the nurses just came up and she was like, oh, Jonathan, I had one of these shadow workbooks. And I'm like, oh, what's the shadow workbook? And then she was telling me she was actually going to tell me she was bringing me one just because we talk and she worked through one and she said it really helped her. And I was like, oh, I might look into that. She never brought me the book. I think she still needs to bring me the book, but I looked it up online and I just ordered it. I just ordered it. I was like, she's taking too long. I'm gonna order this book. I need to figure this out real quick. Trying to make some changes quick.
Wow.
I got this book. This
That's okay. Maybe we could
picture
have
right
that.
here. It's
Maybe
a
we could
black
have
book.
that. I saw it. I remember you showed it to me. Maybe
Yeah,
we
it's
could
a
have
black book with white letters.
maybe next time, maybe a future show. Maybe we could have the author on guest on the show, and we could ask him questions
Oh
later
yeah,
on.
that would be
That'd
wild.
that'd be crazy. I think maybe let me see if I could work that out. But yeah, so what else, Jonathan? Let's see. We have 8 minutes left, and then we're gonna go. I think we're gonna have a part two for sure
Okay,
because
cool.
this is super exciting. Um, I'm gonna blow. I'm gonna throw this right on you now. Bing. But
Yeah,
how did you watch the Oscars?
I didn't watch the Oscars. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. So let's not even talk about. But basically, the best animation film was The Boy and His Heron. It's by a super famous director in anime. He's 81 years old now, and it's actually like
Yeah, tell
a
me about it. Tell me about it.
well, it's a biography on him losing his mom. So it's so beautiful, and it's called a film. They don't call it like just animation, right? And anime. It's a film. And what I love about anime, for example, is that they they don't see it as silly or comical or like almost geared towards children. It's like a whole other way of doing your art, but through the creative pen, right? Through drawing and stuff like that. And it's beautiful because they always deal with serious issues. Like I'm looking at My Hero Academia, and it's about this guy who wants to be a hero, right? And he's kind of he didn't have, everybody has quirks and quirks. Everybody has superpowers and they go to they go, it's real. I do check it out. It's funny. And I mean, it's great, but it's really intense too. Like they did a story on this guy who felt inadequate and he accidentally murdered his whole family. That's intense. That's how intense it is. And now he wears all his
Yeah.
family's hands on his face and his body, right? But we went into they always, and that's why I got the backstory ideas because they always go into backstories to they introduce these characters and you're like, oh, that guy's funky, that guy's lame, but then later on you realize why that character acts that way or why that character draws that way or I mean dresses that way, why he has that kind of quirk and what happened, you know. And it's really interesting. That's why I'm starting. I do with my cartoon, right? I have all these backstories of my
Oh, I
cartoon.
see now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
I
I do.
see.
Yeah. So I want to show people, hey, these guys aren't just one dimensional, right? They're three-dimensional. They have, even though they're two-dimensional, but the backstories, they have a lot of who they are. You know, I want people to know this is like Annabelle. Annabelle's my most interesting character. She's a robot companion, and she's fed a lot of things, right? That she's going to change the world in a positive way, and she's going there to show love to someone who needs love. But when she gets out of there, that's my next part too. She realizes that it was a lie. It was a marketing strategy because she's just a product. She's
Mm.
not what they told her she was, which is a being. She's just a product, and she realizes that's why she turns into because she's a villain in virtual nuts. She steals Ray, she kidnaps them, and all this crazy stuff. But you don't know that. You think it's just, but no. So that's why I get a lot of influence for anime, and I think you should watch it too. But
Yeah.
yeah, have you watched anime or where's your influence from cartoons? Why did you decide to be an animator?
Oh my goodness. Like so I don't watch that much television, but I watch a lot of like YouTube animators. I just find that more entertaining to me than a lot of television. And I don't really like all the commercials in television.
Yeah, yeah, it's geared. It's really all a
Um,
marketing strategy.
so yeah. And I feel like some of the animators on YouTube are just so much more pure creativity. There's not unnecessary bias or trying to send a message, subliminal message, in their storylines. But with with animators on YouTube, like it's just very pure. It's like creative. It comes from the heart. There's so much passion when people tell their stories. It's I just enjoy it a lot more. So
It,
I feel
it-
like I have a lot of stories to tell. I'm right now in the phase of just doing like my lectures, but I do want to eventually move into actually stories, like ER
wow.
presentations, like actually fun interactions, funny interactions. But right now I'm just on the lectures period right now.
Wow, so you were going to be able to see you evolve from your lecturers to your little 2-minute gags that you do too with the based on your lectures with just the interactions and then to stories. Wow,
Yes.
that's going to be intense.
Yeah, the stories, because I have a lot of stories that they're really funny. Of course, it's all nice to the patients. I mean, it's all nice to the patients, but maybe a lot like from med school, like during that training period. It's just funny times.
Oh wow. So is Eddie gonna be like a
A younger
teenager, a
version.
younger version?
Yep,
Yeah.
yes. He's gonna be a baby Eddie. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's gonna be intense. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait.
He's gonna be
I'm sure it's gonna be
smaller
great.
and
Oh,
just it's gonna be funny.
well, let me ask you this. So Eddie, like his little background, was he did he want is he based on you or is he a character that's always wanted to be a doctor? Where does
Um,
Eddie come from?
I don't, I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit of based on me, but also he's like everybody in reality. He's everybody that wants to go into this field and help people. So
Ah.
yeah.
That's beautiful. How'd you come up with the name?
Honestly, it was a short. You're gonna laugh at this because it's sort of silly, but Dr. Eddie, I was making short for education because his whole thing is like educating. I don't know. I
That's
was like
cool.
Dr. Eddie.
That
Just
no,
think
that
like a
I love
short
it.
version of education, but
No, I love it, dude. You know
yes,
what
I just with it.
I always thought about Eddie Monster, and this I'm dating myself again because I'm 120. But there was a there was a an Eddie um Frankenstein. And I when I saw Eddie, I thought, oh, that's so cool. Is he symbolically saying, because I think he was in the industry too, in the medical industry, I thought it was a very symbolic thing. But and then I thought, oh, maybe it's because ER, Eddie. So
Yeah.
and then so I thought, okay, wow, this guy's intense because he has all these different levels that he's doing. But now you're telling me it's no, just no, no, but I think
I
symbolic.
know. I know it's something so simple.
No, but I think maybe that was a subconscious thing, that there's a lot of levels of his name too. But
Yeah.
so Jonathan, this is part one. So we are gonna go into part two. So I'm gonna send you another link. And those of you who are watching, we'll see you back in a second. All right, Jonathan. So I'm gonna send you another link. And now
All
we'll
right.
get